Good morning. I wasn't expecting you here, Michael.
Hey, was it?
I was expecting Michael from Mama Louisa's. How you doing? You're the chef and one of the owners. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
What are you guys up to?
Just tapped some hard bottle Merkin Gherkin here, so giving it a little tasty taste to see what we're gonna do with it.
Merkin Gherkin. What is the Merkin Gherkin? So Merkin Gherkin is a dill pickle sour ale, and we started brewing just for our love of pickles. It was a little bit of a gamble when we first decided to brew it. Didn't know how the people would receive it, and it ended up being our biggest seller, our flagship beer. So like a nice juicy pickle, yummy. So what are we gonna do with that?
It makes me want something fried. Yeah, my brain goes right to it, like a fried pickle or something. So we do a elote hush puppy on a special occasion, and I think this is called for that.
Those are my favorites. I can't wait. This would be perfect. I'm here with Michael Elefante of Mama Louisa's and Guido Q, executive chef and good friend. We wanted to get your story because that's why we're here. So how did you become a chef and why did you become a chef?
So, I grew up watching, my dad was a chef. And so I grew up watching PBS, Great Chefs of the World, Great Chefs of America with him. And so that was our, for now, I forget if it was Sundays or Saturdays, but we grew up watching it. And so, we'd be laying on the couch, after breakfast, and we'd watch that. And then, I got to the point where after we watched it, I'd come in and be like, Dad, we gotta watch our shows on. And so we'd, watch it. And then I told him, I said, I'd like to learn some of this stuff, Dad. I think I want to do this.
Right.
So Dad was like, well, if you're gonna do that, you got to start with omelets. And so every morning we got up, before school, thousands and thousands of omelets. We were just making them. Well, I got so tired of eggs to the point where I didn't even want to eat them anymore.
So you're straightening it out to get all the solids out so that you can make more of a broth and reduce it
more
down.
refined. Yeah, so this is all mirepoix, some fennel, a couple other little secrets in there. Blend it all up so that way you release more of the flavor. And then we're gonna strain it out, kind of push it through the sieve. And then we're gonna cook this down, concentrate the flavor. Get rid of all this stuff because all the flavor of that stuff's in the broth. Then we'll do one more strain before we serve it with an even finer mesh. And she's gonna be tasty. This is all beef stock. The Manhattan Special Soda's in here. So it's got that nice, beautiful kind of like coffee, sweet smell to it, a little chocolatey aroma. And then it'll get super dark as it cooks down too. So it'll go from like a brown to not necessarily black, but a lot more darker color, be yummy.
Richer color, you're right.
Richer color.
Richer and deeper.
Yep.
Let's go through the menu. So we've got an amazing menu lined up for everybody today.
Yeah, so surprise bite, kind of like a little gift from the kitchen. In a lot of places call it an amusé, if you will.
We're gonna do Merkin Gherkin with the elote hush puppies. It's like a old school, new school, old school with new school, my school, old school. With how this is gonna go.
Okay.
The hard bottle Merkin Gherkin, which is basically like a nice, delicious pickle in a pint glass.
Liquid pickle.
Sounds crazy, but it's fantastic.
Delicious.
But the nice acidity from it, I wanted something fried with it, fried pickles, those kind of things. Right. And we had just recently done at a gut festival, we did the elote hush puppies.
Fantastic flavor, especially of the Southwest. A lot of people think of them like Long John Silver's, all that kind of stuff. Cornmeal is your first thing in it. So besides flour, this is your main ingredient. We're gonna go Guido rub. Will you hold that?
Yep.
How you doing, Mom? This is Mom. 50 years in the biz, crushing it, as always. So we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of salt, half tablespoon of garlic, half tablespoon of onion, half tablespoon of paprika, 1/4 tablespoon of black peppers. We're gonna go, there's a lot of flavor packed in this, so it's really all you need. That's got the local guajillos, pasillas, anchos, chili negros, some paprika in there, brown sugar, garlic powder, onion powder, Guido rub right there. Awesome. Baking powder. So we're gonna start just kind of mixing the dries.
Now the buttermilk is gonna give it a richer flavor.
Buttermilk also is nice for acidity because we got that acidity from the beer as well. So after we get all this mixed up, we're gonna add the elote to it. So we got some chives, cilantro, jalapenos.
Have you heard where bad rainbows go?
Where do bad rainbows go?
Prism. It's a light sentence, but it gives them time to reflect.
This guy. I mean, it's a dad joke, so it's okay. It's acceptable. You can't.
I got 3 kids. I got it.
Yeah.
Places with hush puppies, you know, you think of Long John Silver's and that. And this is one thing I learned from Travis at the parish with their hush puppies is you don't fry them all the way till hard. We put them in the oven after they're, you know, basically fried till golden brown, and we put them in the oven to finish them. So that way they kind of fluff and they kind of steam out a little bit. It keeps them a little fluffier instead of just being in the fryer.
Thank you so much for everybody that came out. We have an amazing meal lined up for you.
We'll get it going. We'll bring everything out. Yep. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go a little Guido blue, a little off center. I mean to put that one dead center. Grab one. Just a nice little blue. First bite of the day. Look at that. I should have had the pickles ready. What? That pickle beer over the top. Peppercini pickle. This is the Guido rub here with the elote hush puppy, and then a pepperoncini pickle right on top. Yeah, give it a little feet. All right. You want me to run that out? Yeah, if you want to grab that. Yep. With this pickle beer, the Merkin Gherkin, we did a elote hush puppy.
One of my favorite bites, and thank you, Chef, for providing that. It's great with the beer, so please dig in and enjoy.
It goes really well with beers that kind of pick a little very soury taste, and then the spice kind of helps mellow it out. So when you take a sip and take a bite, it's a perfect blend too.
What a great combination. We've never had the beer before, but it's very good.
This had a lot of mate flavors, and I love this beer. This is one of my favorites. I'm a pickle lover, so.
My dad came down with colon cancer in '98, and really kind of, I was 12, and it kind of like, you know, took me, you know, right? So after he passed away, he was diagnosed with pedo. I think he was only alive for like 3 months after he was diagnosed. So it was quick. And so after he passed away, I was like, you know, I was 12, and I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. You know, this is my thing with him, you know? So got into it, and so I started working at the restaurant. You know, I was busting tables when I was 8, but, you know, at that point I started, you know, following my aunt around in the kitchen, following the cooks around, right? You know, wanting to get my hands on it. So then my grandpa saw that I was interested in, so then he started teaching me knife skills and all that. So, you know, 12, 13 years old, and I'm cutting onions and all this stuff myself, and throwing them away, you know, cutting mushrooms, you know, doing all the prep for the guys, because that was, you know, what I wanted to do. He wanted, you know, they need to know the ugly before you do the fun. And that was one thing that's always stood with me is, you know, you always, you know, whenever you get into something, you've got to do the ugly before you do fun. A lot of people get into this industry, they say the fun stuff, this kind of stuff, and they're like, that's what I'm going to do. And then they don't see the day-to-day, the mundane of, you know, prepping and getting all that stuff. So, you know, that's when I really realized I love it. You know, I could sit there and jam, you know, 4 boxes of mushrooms and cut them all day and just be fine, you know, right? And so, you know, that was it. So Grandpa, you know, took me under his wing, started showing me a lot of stuff. And then when I turned 18, you know, I told my mom, I was like, you know, done with high school, I'm gonna cook. I don't want to go to school. You know, high school was, you know, it was high school, but college just didn't interest me. I already knew what I wanted. I knew what I could get the practical, the everyday, you know, experience by just being here.
from that welcome bite, we moved to the caprese salad.
I don't like cold cheese, cold tomatoes. It doesn't do it for me. I don't like that combo. So if we're gonna do cold cheese for caprese, I like to have roasted tomatoes that we put with it. They're slightly warm. We chill them a little bit so that way they just, they just have a little bit of warmth to them. Olive oil, a nice balsamic, and then we do a nice, beautiful pesto with it.
Mozzarella. Boom. The boom. This, that, another boom.
Now anybody can have the proper hand signals when they do it. Roast the peppers.
Kind of tap into that Italian thing, trying to find something that's local to you, right? We do Vista microgreens. They make it beautiful sunflower micros and cantaloupe micros. And the sunflower ones are really cool because they even have sunflower seed shells still on it. Takes a normal kind of everyday caprese salad and elevates it a little bit.
Just a couple drips, just a little bit of salt on there.
So this mozzarella we made in-house. I actually made it in my house yesterday. So we take the curd, stretch it, the olive oil, a little bit of other stuff in there, salt, stretch it, form it into a nice soft kind of ball, put it into an ice bath, let it chill for a little bit, get a nice softer feel compared to something out of like the store where it's, the bath things that nice bar. If anybody wants to revisit beers or wines or anything like that, I know it's lunch, so we might go a little light. Feel free to just put your hand up, we'll come kind of top you off. So.
Oh, no, that's right. September. Yeah, one of the best I've had, I would say. And I liked how the tomatoes were cooked in instead of raw. I think it gave it a completely different flavor than what it used to.
Fresh, very salty, mozzarella, pesto with it, and paired with a nice sweet.
How is it so?
College just didn't interest me. I already knew that. I took a year off, did that, and then I was like, well, I need to know the other end of it. I need to know the front of the house. So then went and did hotel restaurant management, and then so I was doing that for a while at Pima and Northern Arizona University. And a guy came in his name was Michael Press. He was a chef at the Four Seasons with my sister. Came in for dinner one night, and I was ready to do something else. I was ready to do a different challenge myself, do a different cooking. I was talking to him, and they were getting ready to open the Ritz-Carlton in Dove Mountain, and I was like, I'm gonna take my shot. I was like, I don't have any schooling, but I can cook online. I can go on. You tell me how to make it once, and I can make it. And he was like, okay, come here. We're having a hiring thing. Come here, and we'll talk. Showed up, first one there, did my interviews, talked to them. They hired me as a cook to in garmager. Little did I know what garmager was. So the day before my orientation, I'm online, like, what is garde manger? I'm like trying to spell it and like, what is this? So it was the salad kitchen. So I got myself, it was where you're starting. Basically, have culinary school, you're going there. And worked my way up, and I stayed there. I lived in Vail basically. While I was going to work in Laredo. And so it was a long drive, and I didn't want to leave. I was like, I'm going to take advantage of the money while it's here. So if they're going to have me, I'm going to take this overtime. I'm going to take it because I'm going to make my drive worth it. Right. So I just kept staying. So after my shift was done, I'd go to a different kitchen. Hey, you guys need anything? You guys need anything? But, I'd stay there for 15, 16, 17-hour days. Well, did that 5-6 days a week. Got paid to go to school, to culinary school. And that was the beautiful thing about it is I learned the classic French techniques. My mentor, Chef David Saris, he's a certified master French chef. He was the executive chef there. He taught me so much. He taught me, the back end of it, the managerial side, the things that you don't see that you need to know. That really you don't learn in books. You don't learn from practical. It's somebody's got to kind of bestow it upon you.
An next item was 2 pastas, and it was Joe's special, which this is the house that Joe built.
The house that Joe Special built. Yeah.
And then we also did Guido Alfredo. The Guido Alfredo is special because it's on the 3rd generation menu. So this is your creation and your addition to the menu.
So the menu is broken down: heritage menu, 3rd generation menu. Heritage menu, Joe Special. It's our homemade linguine. It's a egg and flour mixture. So my grandpa, funny story. So back in the day, grandpa, he would always have me train up pasta every day. So he would always have me weigh it. Boy, I know what 10 ounces of pasta weighs. I don't need to weigh it. So then he'd go get a scale and he'd come over and he'd put his thing on there and he'd go, see, told you. And I put my hand like, all right, grandpa. And then so I like kept wanting to get to that point.
Look at that. It's perfect the first time.
See, I'm gonna drop these out. See, these are pretty much fully cooked pasta. When you make it in-house and you make it fresh, you don't really have the ability to cook it al dente. Al dente comes from the box pasta and it's so dry. There's no moisture in it, right? So it's why it takes 8, 9, 10 minutes to cook it. Our garlic and oil, hot pepper seeds, some beautiful cheese melted right on top of it. We use a special Wisconsin cheese because California cheese melts like plastic. And then we finish it with our aged tomato sauce. Our aged tomato sauce sits for 2 days before we use it, and that's been the signature dish of the restaurant since 1956. So
When you put it, you put another splash of red sauce on.
And then the Guido Alfredo, kind of a tired night of working on the food truck dish that came together. It's our fettuccine Alfredo that we make here in-house. It's beautiful. We make the Alfredo, we make the fettuccine. So we smoke this with maple. This is a maplewood smoked pork. So you get a lighter smoke flavor, Guido Gold.
Yeah.
And then we put that maplewood smoked pulled pork right on top of it with that Carolina Gold that we make, the Guido Gold. A little black Tuscan kale slaw, little cornstarch and flour, crunchy fried onions. I call them tobacco onions because they look like shaved tobacco onions.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
Definitely not that.
Give them a nice little crunch on top of it, some savory.
We got the fettuccine, which is one of my favorites.
That's right, Alfredo.
Oh, that's just got a great texture.
The homemade linguine that we make every single day, we make about 120 pounds of homemade linguine. Sangiovese with flax leaf to go right along with it. Sangiovese, tomato sauce, pasta, little spice, mashed bacon heaven.
The kale gives a little bit of a bitter flavoring against the sweetness of the pork.
Sauce was the best part.
Yeah. Totally great.
I really loved how the barbecue was kind of sweet and spicy with that green Alfredo. And then you had the kale and the crunchy onion strips too.
And then I moved to the Burger Bistro. We did the rebranding there. We had the Accenture Match Play tournament. So we would be cooking for all the golfers and all that. And got my promotion there to chef de partie. So it's basically the supervisor of the kitchen. Michael Press was back there, and he was banquet chef or the restaurant chef of that area. So I was right below him. So he took care of, talking to the guests. If there were special events or anything, he would handle all that. I handled the everyday, overseeing everybody, making sure everybody's stuff was together, did the orders, made sure that food was done, that when the banquets did show up after he brought them, that they stayed. And that was one of the best things too, because I learned P&Ls. I learned all of the rest of the business side. Then mom wanted to retire. My aunt wanted to leave here in 2014. They went and opened up Louisa on Houghton.
Right.
So there's really nobody here to run this one. And so I told mom, I was like, I'm kind of ready to go. There's not much more for me to move up here unless I move somewhere. I was like, so, let me come back to the restaurant.
So the last one was kind of a nod towards another one of your local partnerships. Beer Earl Premium Beef Espresso Soda Braised Short Ribs with polenta and garlic broccoli.
Yeah, I love short ribs. One of my favorite things when I was at the Ritz, we used to do a Dr. Pepper braised short rib. It was fantastic. It was like crack after after the buffet was over or after the plate of dinner. Everybody would run to the banquet kitchen and we'd all be shoveling it in our face. And so when I came back, I found this espresso soda and I was like, oh man, I think this could be really good to braise with this short rib. So I tried it one time And we did it for the Liver Foundation dinner, and it was a hit. I mean, it was like crack eating them.
Let's get some spoons and we'll taste that broth. See how it's coming? Put it on your other spoon. There we go. Oh, wow. Sweetness starting to come out. Yeah, so we're gonna reduce this down. So I don't put this in my short rib one for the soda one because it picks up too much wine, and I want the soda that espresso soda to be the main one. Okay. But you need a little bit to add some flavor to it. So I heat it up separately, boil it separately, reduce it, and then I'll add it to that to kind of darken it and finish it.
So the dish, when it's plated, it looks very much traditional, very approachable, as far as it looks like mashed potatoes and pot roast, because you've got the nice creamy, we puree the polenta, so it's nice and creamy. It sits right on the plate. It's not gritty in that. And then we put that short rib right on top. And then we put the espresso jus, that braising liquid from it that we reduced down right on top of it. So it looks very much a traditional dish that's very approachable, but then as soon as you bite into it, it's your mind explodes because it's totally different than anything you've had. Nice, beautiful Vera Earl, premium beef, short rib, a little ice water on the fennel fronds, crisp them up.
Probably about 3 pounds of Parmesan in the parm between all of you. So in that polenta, there's a ton of it. And then we blend it so it breaks up all that grit in there. So it's a nice and creamy, silky smooth kind of polenta.
It's delicious. Absolutely delicious.
Dessert.
I don't know. I'm taking the bone. Big on the plate.
And then we finish off with classic mini cannoli and your tiramisu, and you did a little bit different for this menu.
We don't do the cake. We make it in a jar or glass. We make the mousse, for it. I want the filling. I want that like good, yummy filling with a couple lady fingers.
Pick it up and you can dip it and scoop.
But I think that's what sets us apart too, because it's when you've had our tiramisu, that's a Mama Luisa's tiramisu. It's not a normal shirt,
And then the mini cannoli, you make all the filling for the mini cannoli still.
Yeah.
And have you guys always done that?
We still make the filling. That's the heart of it, obviously. With a really, really nice ricotta, a little bit of cinnamon. Can't tell you how the cinnamon gets in there. It's not just grated cinnamon. Secret, chef secret. I squeeze, hit a little nup at the end, then I go back here and go, whoop. Beautiful. Little chocolate chips, powdered sugar. Our desserts, we don't make them super sweet. We try and keep it as traditional to that European state of mind of desserts are sweet, but they're not sweets. One of my favorite wines to pair with a dessert is a Valpolicella. Valpolicella, they take the grapes, they let them mature on the vine a little bit longer. It's got a nice kind of like raisin consistency where you'll get some of that sweeter wine notes with it, but it is not a sweet wine.
I thought that lunch was spectacular. I have to say my favorite dish was the Guido Gold Alfredo. Absolutely phenomenal. I would definitely make that again. My husband's super into barbecue and I was like, we need to figure out how to make this. The elote hash puppy was really good. I loved the pairing with the mergang gherkin.
So I got to say big thank you to Michael Elefante and Wesley Soares for putting this together today. The Guido Alfredo was incredible. The sauce, the Alfredo, the meat was just delicious. Love the wines. Chef Elefante did a fantastic job pairing the different wines with different dishes. All the pairings were fantastic. And the dessert was unbelievable. Really, really special experience. I'll definitely be back for the next one.
Thank you so much for joining us. We will have some more lunches and then a dinner coming up soon. Thank you so much.
You know, this is what I was meant to do. Like, let me come back. I took this one over and just instantly started kind of taking what we could from that 5-star, you know, resort life service, customer service, all of those things here, greeting people, talking to them, you know, giving them that warm welcome, giving them every little bit of what customer service should be, of what Italian peach should be. If you don't take care of your people, they're not going to come in. And if you don't have customers, you don't have business. And so that's the main thing, is you got to take care of people. You got to give them a good product. You got to make them feel safe. You got to, you know, take care of their needs and anticipate everything. And if you don't do that, then there's no point.
Seeing you work in the kitchen today and everything that it's amazing, and you're doing amazing things here. And thank you for letting me be a part of it and the Tucson Tasty Show. So we'll see you next time on the Tucson Tasty Show. We'll have executive chef Danny Perez of the Arizona Sands Club. So stay tasty, Tucson.